we gotta talk about Garfield Eats. Yeah, I'm doing another one of these. They're really fun, okay? So, yes, you heard me right. Today we are looking into Garfield Eats, an actual bloody restaurant, sort of, themed around the goddamn orange cat. So let's ask the question, what in the cheesy layered fuck is Garfield Eats? Well, it's a ghost restaurant themed after the Garfield franchise. So, first let's answer, what is a ghost restaurant? To first make sure everyone is caught up on some of the terminology we'll be using, a ghost restaurant is a type of food service that operates out of existing restaurants. They don't have a physical space of their own. Unlike usual restaurants where you can walk in and order or eat there, the only way to obtain food from these ghost restaurants is via phone or delivery apps and sites. They exist as a virtual storefront in a sense. During the pandemic, these became super popular amongst big name restaurants as they were able to continue operating without being able to see customers. And all of them were getting in on this, and to list some examples, Cosmic Wings, a ghost kitchen owned and operated by Applebee's, Frilled Cheese was owned and operated by IHOP, even Hooters was in on the action with Hootie's Burger Bar, Hootie's Bait and Tackle, and Hootie's Chicken Tenders. There's even more to these than I can go over right now, and maybe one day there'll be a video of their own, but now we ask, how the bloody fuck did a Garfield themed restaurant come to be? Return your minds back to the ancient year of 2018. Jesus Christ, what even is time? Our story starts with a bright young man with stars in his eyes. Nathan Masri, pictured here in his fabulous looking catsuit. When Masri was asked, why Garfield, by Mel magazine in an interview that stated, to hear Masri's tell it, he's bound to the cat by fate. Garfield found me, he says. I didn't find Garfield. He explains that his mother used Garfield comic books to reward his academic performance as a youngster. She'd asked me if I got any of the A grades, A-, A or A+, and she'd surprised me with a Garfield comic book. He also grew up a fan of the Garfield and Friends TV show, singing along to the opening credits with his friends and siblings. And yeah, wow, that's genuinely kind of a touching story. Like, I had a similar relation to the Snoopy comics growing up, and it's genuinely sweet to me. And I'm likely not the only one the story touched, as when he approached the big man Jim Davis himself and declared his dream of making a Garfield-themed restaurant, not only did Jim and the Paws Inc. agree to a licensing agreement, and thus in 2018, with the help of the investor Pascal Hyder, the dream came to reality as Garfield Eats was founded and restaurants started opening up in Dubai, Toronto, Ontario, and London, Ontario. And as it turns out, Garfield Eats was also a bit of a pioneer into what would become known as ghost kitchens later on. At the time, Masri referred to the restaurants as a QMR, or Quick Mobile Restaurant. Now, while these restaurants did have physical locations, they were still ghost kitchens, but the buildings were equipped with attached phones preloaded with the Garfield Eats app. Oh right, we gotta do a whole section on the app alone, because this app just goes above and beyond the usual. Now, I know having an app for a restaurant isn't that crazy, but this was fairly uncommon for ghost restaurants, as they typically have orders done via third-party apps like Uber Eats and stuff. But this app went above and beyond. Not only did it have all the functions to order and track your food, it had games, and you could even watch episodes of Garfield and Friends. And that's not all. It had coupon rewards, a bloody live chat system with their Friends Happiness Center, which I assume just puts you in a face-to-face chat with Jim Davis asking how much you love Garfield and how much stuff you're going to buy. Because I mean, look at that face. Are you going to tell that man you don't want to order everything off the menu? And if ordering food isn't enough to make him happy, well, have no fear, because this thing also included a whole Garfield merch shop, which I'm sure was totally not intrusive and left you alone when you ordered food. And with a slogan like love me, feed me, don't leave me, how could you not walk away with your tummy stuffed, your arms full, and a nice empty wallet? The app was designed to be as enter-gaging as possible, said word being a portmanteau of entertaining and engaging. Side note, wow, I always wanted to have a reason to use that word. I really hope I pronounce it properly. So what exactly could you order then? Yeah, that's right, I'm dedicating a whole chapter to the menu alone. This is a whole new lexicon I am gifting to you. We of course have the classic lasagna, a perfectly healthy meal for any fictional orange feline, which they provided 3 variations. The Big Agna, the Big Cow, and the Big Empanado. They had the world's first natural Garfield pizza, which are such wonderful names as Garfield Garita, Giordano, Isarib, Garfield Indiano, Shish Chicken, and the Garfield Peroni. Huh, did Garfield ever actually eat pizza? Is that a thing? Let me check. Oh my god, as it turns out, in the more modern years of Garfield, he has actually eaten far more pizza than lasagna, and in the book, 20 Years and Still Kicking, Garfield's 20th anniversary collection, Jim Davis states that he wishes he had made pizza Garfield's favourite food instead of lasagna, as he claims that pizza is much easier to draw than lasagna is. I feel like my reality is crumbling right in front of me. Moving on to the new liquid I'd least like to be drowned in, we have the Garfuccino, a cup of roasted espresso and milk that comes in 5 flavours: orange peel, honey and chocolate, pumpkin, peppermint, and dark chocolate. Speaking of chocolate, you could also get these cute little chocolates in the shape of Garfield's head. They also had more generic products such as smoothies, fries, and also a kids meal known as the Kitty Kid Meal. Why don't you just call it the Kitty Meal? That would have been wasted. Whatever. So as you may have noticed, I've been using a lot of past tense in this video so far, and as to why, we now go on to ask. So it seems things were going pretty well from the start, with Marjorie saying, "I had fans flying in from New York, Portugal, Mississippi, just to come and see me." Marjorie even went as far as stating he was convinced he'd become the next Ronald McDonald. And Jim Davis was still seemingly pretty excited about this, even appearing in GarfieldEATS promotional videos. So what exactly happened to cause the end of such a unique venture? Well, surprisingly, quite a bit. In 2019, Viacom CBS acquired the Garfield property from Paws Inc., placing it under the Nickelodeon banner, which I'm sure led to nothing but the highest quality products under its license. This meant Marjorie was forced to renegotiate the terms of his license, which, as we will later find out, was not as favourable as the previous deal, as his frustrations with Viacom CBS were quite public. In early 2020, due to the arrival of a certain pandemic that is still ongoing to this day, believe it or not, leading to the closure of the GarfieldEATS Toronto. Also, amid Marjorie's dispute, his previously mentioned key investor Hyder dropped out of the endeavour. And this is where things took a bit of an unexpected turn. Marjorie had made quite the online presence for himself, for better or for worse, as it seemed for every one of his supporters there was a heap of detractors, and he did not handle this in a healthy way at all. He was constantly seen everywhere fighting and arguing with people for even the slightest criticism, from Twitter to even Discord threads. He even published his own essay named The Rise of QMR, The Fall of QSR, which was him explaining what he had accomplished and kinda just felt like a pro-capitalist nightmare, in my opinion. And this is where he dipped into the oh-so-fun realm of conspiracy theories, and in this case, QAnon. A quick summary, as I don't want to give them the time of day, nor do I want to be the ones to introduce you to them, but as described by YouTube creator Dan Olson is, and content warning for mentions of nonsense and some general alt-right bullshit.
QAnon is a fascist biblical esoterics apocalypse cult that believes an anonymous government agent known only as Q is leaking sensitive, above top secret information to patriots, revealing that the political and cultural opponents of Donald J. Trump, the so-called deep state and Hollywood elite, are the minions of the cabal, literal Satan-worshipping pedophiles who kidnap, traffic, molest, and terrorize children in order to produce and harvest adrenochrome, a byproduct of the body processing adrenaline, which they use to get high during their ritual worship of their lord, who is, again, Satan.
Now, that clip involved a lot of jargon, but to sum it up, they are very bad, very bigoted, and often very dangerous people. During this time, he was constantly sharing just some awful conspiracy bullshit about the pandemic, just really bad. So yeah, very yikes. It should be said that Marjorie has since publicly denounced the conspiracy group, stating he regrets the time he spent down the rabbit hole. But the damage has already been done. Which brings us to December 2021. Marjorie receives an email from Viacom CBS terminating his Garfield licensing agreement, apparently just a day before Christmas. And his response was, well...
Cats are not the only ones with 9 lives. Nathan Masry has 9 lives too. And I'm not going to quit. But this time, I have no choice. It's time to say farewell, my Garfield fanvestors. It is official. I am leaving GarfieldEATS.
Which brings us closer to today, in which Masri and his fans are waging a war against Viacom CBS, which Masri is claiming they're on my case. They have their legal departments after me every single day. And this may well be true, as Masri has confirmed he owes substantial money in licensing fees, and has faced numerous copyright disputes since he lost the license. Which kinda seems his own fault when, despite no longer having the license, he still thought a line of GarfieldEATS bloody NFTs were a good idea. Which, just to shine a light on that, GarfieldEATS constantly prided itself on its ethical food sourcing and stuff, yet Masri seems more than happy to burn the fucking planet down to make some money. Whilst GarfieldEATS was shut down, it technically remains a husk of its former self, becoming a frozen foods brand, selling only its big cow lasagna. To see what Masri is up to closer to now, he seems to be in his self-reflection arc. During all of this, he made things very personal for himself. His focus towards engagement led him to, well, losing himself further. In a quote from him, he says, "The detachment of Garfield that has burdened me. I'm grieving. Maybe I've learnt to never get attached to a place, person or thing. Maybe I've learned the power of detachment," which, while sounding a bit wild, can be a bit sympathetic. I think similar to the ideas of not placing someone on a platform, as everyone is fallible. I have a feeling Masri's meaning was a smidge more sinister and far more related to his ideals of capitalism, however. So what else is he up to? Well, of course he can't truly detach himself from our fave Orange Cat, and is joining director Ewan Gottfried as the executive producer on an upcoming Garfield documentary. He also launched EGs, a digital platform which he refers to as the world's first marketplace for certified licensed products. And I'm sure he's learned a lot from all this, and will never ever try doing this again with another brand, right? Yeah, it looks like I'm making this a whole series because I am having way too much fun with these. I hope you all enjoyed the video. It went many places I did not expect going into it, and I will never recover from it. If there are any rabbit holes and topics you want to see me dive into, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And if you want to like and subscribe, that'd be pretty neat too. Obligatory YouTuber call to action over. I've been Deval, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!